like and subscribe. What fact do you know that makes people go why the? Do you know that? It was an annual tradition for the Pharaoh of Egypt to masturbate into the Nile with an audience. The first Pong machine was dropped off at a local tavern, owned by friends of one of the developers for a test run. After a few days, the game started to malfunction. The tavern owner called one of the devs, Alan Alcorn, to come fix it, and when Alcorn got there it was discovered that it was malfunctioning because it was too full of quarters. There's a type of slug that has penises on its head. What a head. The US is one of the few countries that allows strike anywhere matches to be sold. Do not bring them on a plane. For example, you're going on a camping trip and put them in your checked luggage. You'll be fined several $1,000s. There's no exemption from the fine. But the FAA will work out a payment plan with you. The annual migration of birds was only discovered in 1822, when a stork turned up in Germany with a 30-inch African spear through its neck. Before that, we seriously thought migratory birds slept at the bottom of ponds, or flew to the moon for the winter. Google, Phil Storch. I know the full name of Dom Pedro I, first emperor of Brazil, since I was a child. Pedro de Alca Centenara Francisco Antonio Joa Paulo Carlos Xavier de Paula Miguel Rafael Joaquim Josa Gonzaga Pascal Cipriano Serafim de Braganaae Bourbon. According to Mattel, Barbara's real name is Barbara Millicent Roberts. And Ken's last name is Carson. This reminds me that my cousin got a Cabbage Patch Kid when she was a kid, which were all custom named, and she ended up with a Dolph. Her family wrote the company a letter, and they sent a certificate that officially renamed her Cabbage Patch Kid. Dragonflies are the most effective hunter on the planet, catching 95% of the prey they go after. In Massachusetts it is illegal to consume more than 3 sandwiches at a funeral. The most random law I've ever heard about. When Napoleon Bonaparte died in exile, they cut off his penis and gave it to the local parish priest. The priest later sold it to raise money for his parish, and it's been sold and resold down through the centuries, and to this day there are 3 people who claim to own Napoleon's penis. No one knows why this happened, and it's not the important part of the story. The important part is, who the hell do those other 2 penises belong to? In the U.S., small marshmallows are considered food, so they are exempt from sales tax. Large marshmallows are taxed as candy. The longest poop ever recorded was over 8 feet. Who do you contact to record this exceptional poop? There were a couple of times when I thought I needed to make an official record and didn't know who to call. 911 was not pleased. How do you poop an 8 feet poop without breaking it? Did he crab walk down the hallway? How do we know that this record holder didn't poop 2 4 feet poops? Can our body even hold an 8 feet poop? Is this extraordinary poop preserved somewhere? Is it in the Smithsonian? Or did they build a theme park around it? So many questions. A botfly egg can land on your skin and implant within a fraction of a second. If one hits you in the eye, it is possible that it can implant the egg under your eyelid so your eye incubates and subsequently feeds the growing larva. I know this because I have removed one from the underside of an eyelid before from a patient with a recalcitrant eyelid infection. Edit may have extra vectors. On second thought I'll stay up here in Canada, where I'm protected by the sheer cold. Captain Cruncher's full name is Horatio Magellan Crunch, and he captains a ship called the Guppy. Rats are bisexual by nature, and females will have group orgies with each other when in heat. Edit, thanks for the reward. Also of course rat orgies would be my biggest hit. I will now bring you more interesting rat facts. Forgive the mobile formatting. We'll fix later. Males' balls can take up 10% of their entire mass. There was a study where they put females in lingerie and accustomed the males to it to the point they only saw the lingerie wearing rats as suitable mates. Rats can give in to peer pressure and eat things they don't like if everyone else is eating it. Rats cannot burp or vomit. With the amount of people killing pest rats by poison, they are creating bigger, smarter, poison-resistant mutant rats. The quickest way to the heart actually is through the stomach. According to archaeological evidence, the Aztecs basically discovered through their years of sacrificing people that it is way quicker to cut open the stomach, and then go up, and under the rib cage, to cut the heart out, rather than trying to break open the ribs to get through them. They could apparently get Somiano's heart out this way in only a few seconds, and there are accounts of sacrifices where multiple thousands of people had their hearts cut out in a single day, which would take forever if they did not know the quickest method. The main legal consideration between grave robbery and archaeology is age, and if the deceased has any living relatives. Where I live, if the deceased has been dead over a century and has no living descendants, it's not considered grave robbery and you can claim any valuables found, jewelry, coins, artifacts, etc. Cocaine was such an influence on Fleetwood Mac's rumors that they wanted to credit their dealer. Duck penises are corkscrewed. Duck vaginas are counter-corkscrewed to prevent rape, which happens a lot among ducks. Koalas are the most alien of all mammals on the planet. They have 2 thumbs on each hand, 3 vaginas, spend most of their lives asleep, and evolve to only eat one plant that has no nutritional value. They also eat their mother's poop. Edit, a commenter told me that they do not get high off of eucalyptus, and it turned out to be true. But this still means the animal is dumb enough to eat it. If people were otherwise immortal and nobody had any more children, and you shot someone every second, it would take around 230 years to kill off the human race. 2/3 of U.S. Civil War deaths were caused by disease. You cannot own more than 6 dildos in Texas. They should open up a website or so where you can report people with more dildos. Elephants have prehensile penises, i.e. they can move them like a tail. The cheetah is the only cat without retractable claws. There are more plastic flamingos in the world than real ones. Mr. Rogers personally replied to each piece of fan mail he ever received. It takes a sloth a whole month to travel 1 mile across ground. I love the House Party app. I just use it for random facts these days. The woman who voiced Muriel on Courage the Cowardly Dog was married to the guy who played drums on the Beatles song Love Me Do. He died a few years ago, and she died a few months ago. The end and E. White. If you sneeze when coming from a dark room into sunlight, it is because of a specific gene which is named ACHU. I know because I have it. Autosomal dominant compelling helio-ophthalmic outburst, ACHU, syndrome is characterized by uncontrollable sneezing in response to the sudden exposure to bright light, typically intense sunlight. Don't use household candles for wax play. Ordinary paraffin wax melts at 70 degrees Celsius, which is hot enough to cause serious burns. If you really want to try it out, you need to buy specialty low temperature candles that only melt at 45 degrees Celsius. There's other things too, about how to properly prepare someone's skin to protect the downy hair all over the body, or how to vary the intensity and interval of the heat, but most people stop me before I even get that far. Dolphins masturbate with dead dehydrated fish, and then leave them for other fish to eat. When I explain that artificial banana flavoring tastes off, because it was formulated to taste like the Gros Michel banana. Bananas as we know them have been bred to a point of genetic similarity that means they may as well be clones. This ensures a consistent product, but it also opens banana populations up to illness. The weakness of one banana becomes the weakness of them all. So when a fungal illness struck, the Gros Michel was wiped out. Were it not for the Cavendish banana, we would be banana-less, and we still eat the less sweet Cavendish banana to this day. However, all is not well in Banana Kingdom. Seemingly having learned nothing, we still make bananas too genetically similar to one another, tempting the same fate suffered by the Gros Michel. Edit. There was more to this than I knew. Please read the rest of the comments people have added. It really expanded my awareness and I learned more. You can legally marry your first cousin in Georgia. Ohio is the only state that doesn't share any letters with the word mackerel. In the 1700s they used to rent out pineapples for hundreds of dollars. People would parade their pineapple around the streets flexing on the peasants that couldn't afford to rent a pineapple. Edit. Seeing as this has a couple of updates, here's an article where you can learn about the bizarre history of pineapples as a high fashion status symbol. https://www.mentalfloss.com/article/65506/superlux history pineapples and why they used cost 8,000. It's better to slit someone's throat on the side than in front. There are more arteries there. A co-worker told me one day you'll know when it is truly the first day of spring, because lake water will warm up and make any dead bodies in the lake float to the top surface due to bacteria. He continued with, except for in Lake Superior, where the water temperature never gets warm enough to build bacteria in a dead body, and that as one co-worker I'll never make mad right there. Dolphins can fall deeply in love and develop relationships just like humans can. It has been recorded multiple times that when a human and dolphin, who have formed a strong relationship between them over a long period of time, are separated, the dolphin becomes so depressed that they will fully commit suicide by sinking to the bottom of their pool/lagoon and refuse to come up for air until they drown to death. The longest word you can make using the top row of a keyboard is typewriter. The average vaginal depth is between 4 and 5 inches. You mean my pee-pee is big enough? Don't do that. Don't give me hope. In order to snap someone's neck like in movies or video games, you need to be strong enough to apply roughly 115% of the victim's body weight in rotational force. Much more difficult than Hollywood would make you believe. You've been visited by the ghost of a very important man. Pay your respects by liking and subscribing, and he'll grant you 3 weeks of good luck.